You this husband snatcher. I thought you were my best friend, but you are a green snake under the green grass. Madam, what a mess you were. Your husband wanted a hot lady and he chose me. So leave me alone.
Lagos nights were never truly quiet. Even inside the crowded dormitories of Nigerian boarding schools, where rusted bunk beds lined the walls and tired ceiling fans struggled against the heat, secrets stayed awake long after lights out. That was where Kemi and Tolu began. Two girls, two restless hearts, one friendship that would eventually destroy them both. Kemi was a careful one, quiet, thoughtful, the type of girl who apologized before taking up space. Tolu was fire in human form. Loud laughter, fast decisions, fearless eyes. Even at 15, she already understood something dangerous about the world. That beauty could open doors and men would always pay for attention if you knew how to ask correctly. They became inseparable almost immediately, not because they were similar, but because they understood each other's loneliness. And when you grow up in Lagos, loneliness has a way of making strangers feel like family. At first, their friendship felt harmless. Midnight whispers, shared biscuits, stolen jokes, secret exchanged in darkness. But the problem with sharing every secret with someone is that one day they begin carrying pieces of you that even you no longer control. The years moved quickly after that. As they grew older, Lagos began shaping them the same way Lagos shapes everyone. Harshly, the city taught them survival before it taught them peace. They learned heartbreak in noisy clubs. They learned intimacy in borrowed apartments. They learned that men often arrive carrying gifts with invisible price tags attached. There were parties, there were mistakes, there were nights neither women would ever fully speak about again. Sometimes, Kemi cried over men who made promises they never intended to keep. And every single time, Tolu appeared beside her like she always did, protecting her, laughing with her, pulling her back together. But while Kemi still searched for love, Tolu had already stopped believing in it. To Tolu, relationships were negotiations, attention was currency, and emotions were liabilities. Yet, beneath all the glamour and recklessness, there was still a frightened young woman searching for something real, something that could not be bought. University changed nothing and everything. Kemi tried building structures around her life: books, goals, stability, discipline. But Tolu remained unpredictable. She moved through relationships like storm moved through cities, fast, beautiful, and destructive. Men threw her out, men brought her back, men spent money on her, men feared her. But no matter how chaotic her life became, Kemi always left the door open. That was the rule between them. No judgment, no abandonment. No matter what happened at the time, it felt like loyalty. Neither of them realized that real friendship sometimes requires truth, not silence. Then came Tunde Cole, and suddenly, Kemi's life began to look different. He was steady, successful, gentle in ways Lagos men rarely allowed themselves to be. For the first time in years, Kemi felt seen beyond her beauty, beyond her past, beyond survival. Tunde looked at her like she was something worth protecting. And after years of chaos, that kind of love feels almost holy. Their relationship moved quickly, but not recklessly. With Tunde, Kemi finally allowed herself to imagine permanence, a home, a marriage, a softer life. Meanwhile, Tolu watched from a distance, still glamorous, still surrounded by wealthy men and expensive gifts, but increasingly aware of the emptiness inside her own carefully constructed world. Because luxury can distract loneliness, but it cannot cure it. As Kemi built a future, Tolu perfected survivor. She became exactly the kind of Lagos woman people whispered about online. Beautiful, untouchable, always attached to powerful men. Her apartment grew larger. Her jewelry became more expensive. Her lifestyle became louder. But deep down, something uncomfortable had begun growing inside her. Envy, Not because Kemi had more money, but because Kemi had something Tolu secretly no longer believed existed: peace. And peace is sometimes the one luxury money cannot buy. Marriage looked good on Kemi. The house in Lekki, the dinners, the routines, the soft happiness she wore naturally now. And she has become a woman fully settled inside herself. But some relationships never stay outside your home. Tolu was still there, still calling daily, still sharing stories about married men, heartbreaks, and complicated situationships. Tunde listened quietly whenever Kemi spoke about her friend, and slowly, something dangerous began forming. At first, it was curiosity, then fascination, then desire, because proximity creates intimacy, and intimacy creates opening, especially when boundaries become blurry. The night Tunde and Tolu met properly, everything changed. Neither of them planned for it. That was the frightening part. Sometimes, destruction does not arrive dramatically. Sometimes it enters politely, smiling, shaking hands, pretending to be harmless. Tolu knew immediately there was something dangerous. Tunde knew too, but human being rarely stops themselves when temptations arrive, disguised as understanding. And Tolu understood him, not as Kemi's husband, but as a man, a flawed one, a lonely one, a curious one, the kind of understanding that slowly becomes emotional betrayal before it ever becomes physical. Affairs do not begin in bedrooms, they begin in conversations, in late night phone calls, in private jokes, in emotional honesty shared with the wrong person. Soon, Tunde began reaching for Tolu in ways he no longer reached for his wife. And Tolu, for the first time in years, stopped feeling like a transaction. That was what made it dangerous. Not the money, not the attraction, the emotional intimacy. Because people will forgive lust faster than they forgive connection. And slowly, both of them crossed lines they once promised themselves they would never would. While Kemi remained completely unaware, still trusting, still loving, still defending people betraying her behind closed doors. Women always feel betrayal before they fully understand it. The silence changes first, then routines, then energy. Tunde late nights became frequent. His phone turned face down, his warmth became distracted, and somewhere deep inside herself, Kemi already knew. She just had not yet found proof. Until the receipt, one small piece of paper, one tiny accident, and suddenly the entire illusion began collapsing. The terrifying thing about betrayal is how quickly years of trust can become unrecognizable. The moment Kemi realized it was Tolu, something inside her died quietly, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly. Because betrayal from strangers hurt differently than betrayals from family, and Tolu was family, or at least she had been. In that moment, Kemi understood something devastating. The two people who knew her best had chosen each other over her, not once, not accidentally, repeatedly, carefully and knowingly. And there is no pain quite like realizing your safest people were never truly safe at all. But private pain never stays private in Lagos. Soon the internet got involved. Social media transformed heartbreak into entertainment. People picked sides, people gossiped, people consumed years of friendship and married like trending content. And then Tolu did the unforgivable. She exposed Kemi's past publicly. Old secret, old mistakes, old wounds. Things shared in confidence between teenage girls who once trusted each other completely. Suddenly, Kemi was no longer just a betrayed wife. She became a spectacle, and the internet has always demanded blood. But while Lagos judged loudly, Mama Kemi remained calm, because mothers usually know more than their daughters think. She did not shame Kemi for her past. She did not collapse under scandal. Instead, she reminded her daughter of something important. The affair was never truly about Tolu. The real betrayer belonged to Tunde, the vow breaker, the husband, the man who allowed private wounds to become public weapons. And sometimes, survival begins the moment someone reminds you that your pain is not entirely your fault. Eventually, fantasy disappeared, because relationships built on betrayal eventually becomes poisonous by the same dishonesty that created them. Tunde became controlling, jealous, possessive. Tolu lost the illusion that she had finally found real love, and slowly, the glamorous life she built began collapsing around her. The wealthy admirers moved on, The gift slowed down, the apartment became quieter, and for the first time in her adult life, Tolu had nowhere to run to emotionally. She finally had to sit alone with herself, and that terrified her more than poverty ever could. One night, after the parties ended and the makeup stopped hiding her exhaustion, Tolu called Kemi, not to defend herself, not to manipulate, just to apologize. And maybe that was the saddest part of everything, because beneath all the betrayal, the friendship had once been real. That was what made losing it unbearable. Kemi survived, but survival did not look graceful. The marriage separation changed her. The alcohol became frequent. The loneliness became familiar. Even successful women break quietly sometimes. Still, she kept going, walking, breathing, existing, because healing is rarely dramatic. Usually it looks ordinary, painfully ordinary. Eventually, Tunde came back, not as the confident husband he once was, but as a man finally forced to confront himself honestly. Regret had aged him, guilt had humbled him, and for the first time, he truly understood the scale of what he destroyed. But apologies do not erase damage, and forgiveness does not arrive simply because someone is sorry. Trust once broken becomes something fragile and unfamiliar. Still, Kemi listened, not because she had healed, but because some part of her still remembered the man she once loved. Time passed, therapy began, conversation slowly replaced silence, and somewhere across Lagos, Tolu also changed. The glamorous chaos faded, the noise faded. For the first time, she existed without distractions, without wealthy men, without performance, just herself. And maybe that was the beginning of her real life. As for Kemi and Tunde, they were not healed, not fully, but healing rarely looks cinematic. Sometimes, healing is simply choosing to stay strong enough, long enough to try again. One honest conversation at a time, one difficult night at a time, one fragile moment at a time. And under the Lagos night sky, with all its noise and beauty and unforgiving memories, Kemi finally reached for Tunde's hands again. Not because everything was fixed, but because some things broken still deserve the chance to become something new.